happy Monday. My name is Alice Hanov, and I am the debut author of the Head, the Heart, and the Heir series, which will be coming out later this year, hopefully in June if everything goes according to plan. Now, what I'm doing here on TikTok is I've decided to start this channel for two reasons. Number one, I'm a debut indie author, and I want to be able to come here and talk really in depth about all of the things that have inspired my world, what I've done with the kingdoms, the characters, the mythologies that I have borrowed from and tweaked for my own purposes to make my world really fun and engaging and different from all the other fantasy novels and YA things that are out there. The other thing I want to do is, as an avid reader myself, I want to use this platform to have a little more opportunity to go more in depth with the book reviews of the books that I've been reading in order to get my head in the fantasy world for writing my fantasy novel. So as I mentioned, The Head, the Heart, and the Heir is going to be an epic fantasy series. It's aimed YA right now, but older YA. My protagonist turned 17 in the first book, so I am aiming for the older YA group, as well as any adults who enjoy reading YA fantasy, such as myself. They always say, write what you read, so that's what I've done. Today for my Mythology Monday, I'm gonna deviate a little bit from what I normally would do on my other social medias like TikTok and Instagram. There I have posts about the different mythologies and things that I use in my world, but clearly on Instagram you get a word count, and on TikTok you get a time limit. And so the advantage of YouTube is that I can get a little more in depth and not have to worry about running out of time. And so I'm happy to answer questions you have for my series on YouTube. I might even go and answer them on some of my other social medias, or steal questions that come from my other social medias to talk about here. And then hopefully on Wednesdays and Fridays, I'll be posting book reviews of various fantasy books that I have read in order to really get my head into the world of different fantasy readers and authors and find out just what makes fantasy books so amazing for all of us, as well as the other genres that I do tend to read, which I'm a little bit eclectic when it comes to my reading. I read writing books, I read fantasy, I read classics, I read horror, I read thriller, I read mystery. What I don't tend to read a lot of is contemporary, just general fiction. I like a little bit of magic and fun in my world. So you're gonna get a lot of book reviews on that kind of thing. But today we're gonna start by talking about just my book series in general, and then I'll start the next couple of weeks by going through the world as a whole and the individual kingdoms and areas of my world that we're gonna be running across. So first of all, the title is called The Head, the Heart, and the Heir. In the book, we have two different point of views. It's written in third person, but limited. So you only get a little bit of information from each of the point of views. The first point of view is my main character, Princess Elizabeth of Warren. And the second point of view we get is her friend and potential romantic interest, Prince Aaron of Dayton. The kingdoms of Warren and Dayton have been allies for over 600 years. Their fathers are good friends. In fact, their fathers are each other's godparents. So Elizabeth, her father is King Edward of Warren, and Prince Aaron's father is King Emeric of Dayton. So King Emeric is Alexandria's godfather, and King Edward is actually Aaron's godfather. So that just goes to show you that Dayton and Warren have been very good allies for over 600 years. Now next I'm gonna just start by reading the blurb I have on my website, and then I'll delve a little more in depth for it. So the blurb we have on the website is Princess Elizabeth, or Alex as she's known to her friends, is a sorceress and is the only heir to the kingdom of Warren. After her mother is brutally murdered by her grandfather, she's whisked away into hiding by their allies, the kingdom of Dayton. Shortly after, an accident in Dayton leaves their crown prince dead, and she is lost in the dark forest, where she stays hidden for over 12 years. Coming home is only the first hurdle. Her father's expectations of a princess are not how she saw her life, especially the part of needing to find a husband in the next year, as she's an unmarried female heir in a very powerful kingdom. Her growing powers are quickly causing a lot of havoc, and as she struggles to gain control over them, the unsettling secrets of her mother and her family's past have all come back to haunt her. So with her 17th birthday approaching quickly, chaos and heartbreak surround her, and she must struggle to find her place in her new world before she destroys everyone around her. So what's important there is the book starts off with the new crown prince of Dayton, the younger brother of the one who died in the blurb, and the general and another sorcerer are on their way to find her, which is how the prequel novella ends and how the novel itself begins. So for those of you who don't know, I have written a prequel novella. If you sign up for my newsletter, which is here at alicehanov.com, you are actually able to get that for free now, actually. It started in March. It was March 15th, I believe it went out in the first newsletter. So from now on, anyone who signs up will get the prequel novella for free. As I make this video, it is still in the second last format, but once the final cover and everything is finished, you'll be able to download an updated version, and I will announce it to the newsletter as well on my website as well. But so, the exciting part there is the novella ends with those three being sent off to find her, and book one begins after the prologue with her being discovered and having to be brought home. And so why this matters is that she is the only heir of the Kingdom of Warren, and she is a sorceress, which is not very common in the world of Tauren. There are only a handful of sorcerers that live in the world. The sorcerers typically live in a different part of the world, which we'll get into next week when I explain the map for the world of Tauren. But so we have a almost 17-year-old princess who is finally able to come back home after being essentially hidden in the woods for 12 years, growing up in a camp full of boys in a very Lost Boys, Peter Pan-esque type setting. So coming back with the manners that you would expect of boys in the woods is only the first hurdle that she has to go through. It's also the story also deals with her having to come to grips with the expectations of not only her father over what she's supposed to be as a princess, but her kingdom, and her fears about living up to the things that other people are expecting of her, while she herself is at the age where she's just trying to figure out who she's going to be, and having to deal with the expectations everyone puts on her is a struggle that we all have to go to. So we'll leave it there for today. I do hope that you go check out my website. And as I said, come back next week on Monday, and I will be talking about the world of Tauren as a whole. I'll have my map for you, and then after that we're going to go into the depth of each of the kingdoms every week following that until we've gotten through all of them, and then we will either move on to the sorcerers or we'll move on to the characters themselves. So I hope you have a great Monday, and talk to you soon. Oh, and make sure you subscribe so that you know when I post the videos every week. Bye!